Hello everybody, I'm Emily Collins and I'm the Managing Director of Music New South Wales. Thanks for joining us today. We're here to talk about the Regional Music Officer Program, Music New South Wales's pilot program exploring regional music development. I'm coming to you today from the Gadigal land of the Eora people, and I'd like to pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and anyone viewing this wonderful little chat we're going to have today. I'd also like to introduce you to our three regional music officers who are with us today. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name's Phoebe Pinnock. I am the Regional Music Officer for Music New South Wales. I'm based in Wagga Wagga and looking after southwestern New South Wales. I am on the Wiradjuri land and mainly looking at Wagga, Albury and the Snowy Valleys.
Hi everyone, that's Kramer, coming to you from just outside Bermagui, which is on the lands of the Jurunganj people of the Yuin Nation. I look after the southeast of New South Wales, which includes the Bega Valley Shire, Eurobodalla Shire and the Snowy Monaro.
Hi, I'm Michael Simic. I live and work on the lands of the Wandanian and Walbanga people of the Yuin Nation. As a Regional Music Officer of Music New South Wales, I take care of the southern Tablelands region. I'm based near Braidwood and my kind of areas are from Bowral down through to Goulburn and Queanbeyan.
Fantastic. Just a little context on the Regional Music Officer Program. We wanted to trial a new program in which we hire, employ music specialists living and working in regional areas to be on the ground experts, connecting industry with artists, with councils, and really trying to spearhead development from a very local approach. And the three officers that are with us here today have been doing a fantastic job for the last 18 months. And we're really excited about how the program's been going. So we just want to give you a little update on what we've been up to this year and talk about some plans for next year. What do regional music officers do, and what does your job actually entail? So Phoebe, tell us about one of the things that you do.
Part of what we do is connecting. So we are like social butterflies within the industry in our regional areas. It's a job which is about bringing people together and facilitating all sorts of different amazing outcomes. One of the best ways that we set about connecting our music industry is through networking events. And this year, being that was really challenging, we learned how to do that online. Certainly our Facebook group is a big way that we can stay in touch with all different opportunities that are coming in for our local artists.
Michael, do you want to tell us a bit about the census that you all have done in your areas?
Sure. Yeah, so when this pilot started in mid-2019, the first thing that Sats and Phoebe and I all did was to conduct a big census by looking online and seeing what gigs were going on in what venues in our various areas. And this year, obviously, everything's changed. But from mid-year, we're doing monthly censuses and comparing that data to see how gigs are coming back. And it's been fascinating to see how that's rolled out, because obviously middle of the year there were virtually no gigs compared to middle of last year, but there are certain areas where more gigs happening now in November 2020 than there were in the same time last year, because people are making a real concerted effort to get things happening again. It just means that we're not just making a kind of guesswork about what we think is going on in our areas. We've actually got a tangible sense of what's happening in terms of original contemporary music, even in terms of cover bands, what venues are doing. And so we can then look at that data and think about what resources are going to be helpful to help grow the industry in our areas.
And Sats, what else is on the cards?
So one of the things we really did work on this year was the regional touring network and how we can help facilitate the industry to come out of COVID and really create a vibrant scene throughout regional New South Wales. Largely, international touring will be difficult for a lot of artists, and so we really want to make it as easy as possible for both emerging but also established artists as well to come through and tour throughout our region. So we set up a network of the venues, and we'll be creating resources to make it really easy to tour through the areas.
Great.
It also will help to provide information to all of bands who might have never been to an area, such as mine or Phoebe's or Michael's.
Beautiful. Well, that sounds very exciting. It's been a really tough year generally, and I know it's been a tough year for regional artists and venues as well. And while I'm sure we could be here all day sort of going through some of the challenges that have been faced. I wanted to just sort of acknowledge that that's the context we're working in, but also think about like, what are some of the highlights? What are some sort of interesting thoughts or I guess reflections on 2020 and some things that maybe have given you hope for how we can emerge from this, challenge?
I think from an industry point of view, it's been interesting to see how quickly some people have been able to adapt. There's an artist in my area, Daniel Champagne, who pretty much lives his life on the road, but grew up in my area and has come back and settled here during COVID. He's done 200 shows straight every morning. And I think he will reap the rewards of that as we come out of here, because he really has found a way to connect with his audience and he gets good viewership on it every day. And there's so many different variations of that as far as how we've adapted to this.
Michael?
It's been such an interesting time, and as you mentioned, of course we know that everyone suffered, but there's been unexpected kind of learnings and gifts. The amount of collaboration that I'm seeing when the playing field is kind of leveled, when everyone's lost all their work, it makes us all have realize how much we've got in common, and also how hard we've been pushing so often. And I think the time out from live gigs is also, from an artistic perspective, a lot of artists have not had to be constantly pushing themselves out on social media and have actually gone back to their art of what they do. And obviously some people have not felt creative, and that is 100% fine. But other people throughout my region have been writing and recording and now releasing as they start to gig again. And hopefully we can, out of this, build a more caring, inclusive industry, which is something we've been trying to do anyway.
Yeah, awesome. So we might just wrap it up, but I just wanted to do a little shout out for 2021 and some of the things that the Regional Music Officer Program has planned. So you've all been working on a regional touring network. Do you want to give me a quick little update of what that's going to look like and how that will work, and what 2021 holds for regional touring?
So what we've been working on this year is a resource for touring artists to be able to access all the information that they need about the best live music venues within our areas. So if there's an artist in the city or wherever that would like to put on a fantastic tour throughout regional Australia, but they've got no idea where to go or what venues are the right vibe, you just have to go onto the resource and have a look at which venues have PAs, stage, who to talk to, what it's like there, like every bit of information that you'd want to know about a live music venue, so that you can easily plan a tour, and plan a tour where you've got gig after gig throughout a regional area. That makes it really easy and accessible.
And this isn't just for metro-based artists coming to regional areas, is it? It's about connecting regions to regions.
That's exactly right. So artists anywhere that would like to be able to tour through regional New South Wales, because there's a long way between Melbourne and Sydney, and there's so many cool live music venues in between that often just miss out.
I think people are going to be considering a lot more driving, from Sydney to Melbourne and vice versa, or Sydney to Adelaide, Sydney to Brisbane, Wagga to Brisbane, whatever the route is that I think people are, maybe not necessarily comfortable or considering air travel as much as they may have done before. And I think low cost air travel really had an impact on regional touring networks that used to exist, and now that flights are there's a whole new world out there with air travel. So I think there's some real incredible opportunities for regional touring in Australia in the next couple of years. So it's pretty exciting that this is going to exist.
It's so true, and it does also tie in the local bands that want to be involved. It gives them opportunities to support bigger artists coming through.
So it'll be a list of venues, it'll be suggested touring routes, it'll be suggested, artists that are active and playing in certain areas that you can do your research before you get there. What else?
Well, I was just going to jump in and say it's going to be a key resource for independent artists to use as well. They've got bands that really do quite well in their own areas, but don't necessarily tour through these different regions. And matching those bands up so that they build their fan bases in regional areas is all about allowing artists to stay regionally based and have sustainable careers without having to move to a metro area. And of course, to include metro touring as part of their mix. And also not to forget that Canberra is a major centre that is in between our three areas that actually has a very vibrant music scene these days. And so that there are all these opportunities so that artists can stay living in the place that they want to live rather than having to move to the big smoke.
It will also incorporate things like stage accessibility and accessibility for the venues, local knowledge like accommodation, cheap accommodation, where you might be able to get food late at night, where you might be able to get 24-hour petrol if you're on the road packing up and getting to the next show. Also, where to get the best coffee in town, because
and importantly too, Sats, media lists. We've really worked out who are all the best media throughout our regions, whether it's online stuff and blogs, through to radio, through to print, who are interested in supporting gigs and are going to give coverage. And that's something that can be quite hard to find out if you don't live in that area.
Sure can. Well, I'm so excited about what 2021 holds for the Regional Touring Network. It's going to be really fantastic to see it come alive, and it will exist in a microsite. So if you're an independent artist or early career artist or a venue and you want to get involved, that'll be launching early next year. And you can hit up each of the three music officers, Phoebe, Sats and Michael, at any time just to sort of ask for more information about what they do, or they might be able to help you if you live in their area. And yeah, we're really excited to see this regional music officer program continue to grow.